Alrighty, welcome to this video, and today I'll be giving a full breakdown and review of the Altra Vanish Tempo shoe. So let's start off with the design of this shoe. Now if you're familiar with the general Altra concept and design, you'll know that they're designed with a wide toe box, zero heel to toe drop, and a good ground feel. Now what Altra have done with this shoe is they've gone with their slim fit shape. They've made the shoe a bit more narrow, giving it a more lockdown feel so your foot doesn't slide around as much in the shoe when you're going through your fast workouts or whether you're taking these shoes on race day. Now initially I had a little bit of foot discomfort when I was testing out these shoes. My first three outside toes felt a little bit scrunched up due to this more narrow design, and I felt a little bit of foot discomfort after the workouts. Now as time's has gone on, I feel like I've broken in the shoe and my feet have become a bit more accustomed to this design. Now due to the nature of the shoe, it's designed for speed workouts or race day, so you're not going to be wearing this shoe every day. So I feel like that trade-off is definitely worth it to get the performance benefit from this shoe. Now they've also added a rocker geometry to the front of the shoe to basically help to propel you forward. Now I'm not 100% sold on this rocker geometry just yet. I don't feel as though I get any extra push from this shoe, so to speak. So I'm not sure whether that's just my own personal interpretation or feeling when I'm running in this shoe, and whether or not it is assisting me or not. But yeah, like I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't feel uncomfortable by any means. I just don't feel that it really helps to propel me forward. With that being said though, Altra have gone with their newer Ego Pro foam. It's a 33mm stack height. It's got a really nice bouncy, squishy feel to it, but it's also still firm enough so you can get quick turnover with your feet. So I feel like they've struck a good balance here. I do feel, however, the foam is only really responsive when you're at a fast speed, and anywhere else in between it does feel a little bit sluggish. So I'm going to discuss now different terrain that I've taken the shoe on, the terrain that it feels great on and the terrain that it doesn't feel so great on. So let's start with the positives. So on the treadmill, I find this shoe feels really good when you're doing speed workouts. I hit a 12-kilometer personal best on the treadmill in this shoe. The numbers don't lie, so I believe that this shoe is great for speed workouts, and this workout specifically on the treadmill was proof of that. I find with this shoe, when you're in a good constant stride, that is where it excels. So if you find yourself also on a piece of road or pavement, a nice straight piece of road or pavement, and you can get into a good rhythm at a good speed, the foam feels very responsive, very fast, and it gives you a good amount of bounce. You can rely on the foam to assist you forward and give you more bounce. However, I feel that the foam is quite unstable when going around corners. So there are a few instances where I felt a little bit unsure about my footing. So getting used to running around corners with this shoe felt really awkward at first, compared to wearing a more lower stack, more nimble shoe, such as, for example, the Escalante range from Altra or something like a Vibram 5-finger. After a few tries though, I did get a bit more used to the design of the shoe, and I could turn with a little bit more confidence, but there's definitely a reduction of agility and ground feel with these shoes. So if you find yourself running on a multitude of terrain and having to turn corners frequently, then I would not suggest using this shoe for that specific workout. This shoe is definitely more hitting the road straight, going fast, going forward. That is where you'll get the most benefits out of this shoe. Now I also took it for a track workout, so just around a regular 400-meter track. It felt okay, but it almost felt like the cushioning was too soft and it did not complement the track very well. So generally speaking, most people wear running spikes when they go on track workouts. The track naturally has a bit of bounce to it, so I think you generally want a bit more of a firmer shoe. So something like, if you don't have running spikes, something like an Escalante Racer would be a better version of an Altra shoe for that scenario. So I wouldn't suggest taking this on the track. So the two best scenarios from my experience would be treadmill or road/pavement for these shoes. Anything that requires a bit of balance or agility, the shoe just does not feel stable enough or secure enough through the foot and ankle to really get the most benefits out of it. Now, going back to the design of the shoe and sizing, I am usually a 9.5 US. I went with the same size with the shoe, and I found that in terms of length of the shoe, haven't had any issues there. It is a bit more narrow, so that took a little bit of getting used to. But I would say that if you find that you are on the brink of being in between shoe sizes, then it may benefit you to go up half a size. I wouldn't say that that would be to any detriment at all. So say for example, if you're somewhere around 9.5 to 10, then I would go on the higher end of that scale, just because they are a bit more of a narrow shoe, and so you can afford to go up half a size if you need to, if you fall somewhere between sizes. However, if you know your size and you generally have a little bit of wiggle room within that size, then you should be fine going with your normal size of this shoe. You can always check the website, and if you can find a length chart where it says the length of the shoe, then you can just measure your foot, and if you fall within that length, then you should be fine. Now, a few more points to go over. The heel cup, I find that the design of this has a nice amount of cushion. It's nice and comfortable. However, I do need to tie the shoes quite tight to avoid feeling like the heel will slip when I run. So that's just one minor point there, not a major issue, but definitely something I think they could improve on in the future. Now, in terms of durability, this is where I've actually been pleasantly surprised with this shoe, and there is very little wear and tear on these shoes so far. After 100 kilometers of quite intensive workouts, most of them have been speed workouts, and basically there's very minimal damage on the entire bottom of the shoe. No ripping or anything on the upper. Definitely impressed with the overall design of the shoe. Generally, speed shoes are not built to last. They usually wear out after a couple 100 kilometers. So I'm happy with the structure and the durability of the shoe so far. The upper mesh, it's not super stretchy, but that's obviously expected with a race day shoe. You don't want the feet slipping around in it when you're picking up the pace. There's a nice enough amount of air vents going through the shoe, so the feet don't get too overheated when you're running fast. And overall, the upper mesh is nice and comfortable, nothing fancy, but it does the trick. Now, in terms of the tongue of the shoe, there's not really much to report about it. In the early stages, I did have a couple concerns, thinking that because of the minimalist design, it looked a little bit sharp and thought it might dig into the foot, but it is actually a lot more comfortable than it looks. I've had no issues with it so far. It stays in place and it does its job. And one last point I'd like to make is that the shoe is not going to make you a better runner. All it's going to do is it's going to enhance your speed if you already have a good base level of fitness. So I would suggest that this shoe is probably more designed, or it will benefit intermediate to advanced runners. This isn't to say that beginner runners shouldn't give this shoe a try, but it's designed for speed workouts for people who already have that speed in their legs and they just want to really get the most out of their workouts and try to progress to that next level. So that's just an extra little side point that I thought I would add into this video, as I think it's important when you are picking what shoes will suit you, and try not to have too much expectations in relying on a shoe doing the work for you. Shoes are really just a really minor point when it comes to the whole overall picture of running health and performance. So that about does it for this review. Overall, this shoe is great at what it does. It is designed for speed workouts and race day, and that's exactly what it gives you with nothing else in between. So like I said, it's great when you get into a good running stride. If you've got a nice straight piece of road or pavement or a treadmill, that's where the shoe excels. It is not the greatest in terms of stability and agility and change of direction and things like that. So treat this shoe for what it is. It's great for speed workouts, and it's one of those shoes that fits into a rotation with a very specialized purpose behind it. So I hope this video has helped you gain a little bit more ideas as to the pros and cons of this shoe, whether it will fit into your shoe rotation. If you're looking for a speed shoe that has zero heel to toe drop, if you're familiar with Altra shoes, then I believe that you will love this shoe. Like I said, treat it for what it is. It's a speed shoe. It should only really be used once, maybe twice a week, and save it for race day when you really want to come in with fresh legs and go for a personal best. So that's my review on the Altra Vanish Tempo shoe. I have more videos on the way, so thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.